Good evening, guys and girls. I am on time. Oh, I'm a minute late, actually. This happens to me every week. Basically, I sign into Firefox on my Mac, and then I get all set up. I write the title of the video, and I get going, and I go live, and it says you can't use Firefox. You have to use Chrome. So I have to go all the way back over to Chrome, get signed in, get everything sorted, so on and so forth. So it takes me a little bit of time sometimes to actually get organised. Um, as you join in, please say hello. Got a couple of things before we get started. I'll keep it fairly brief. I have written stuff down. I don't normally write notes down because I kind of like to ad lib, but if I'm honest, truly honest with you guys, for the first time in a while, I went away on a bit of a lads' weekend this weekend. I'm a little bit jaded. I'm very tired, maybe slightly hungover. Hiya, Kim. Brilliant. First time watcher. Amazing to hear that. Fantastic. I hope you like it. I hope I can bring some value to you. So, please do let me know if you've got any questions as we go, especially if you haven't sort of seen any stuff from me before. You may or may not get it first time. So don't worry. Just enjoy. Sit back and relax. So yeah, going back to a little bit jaded, guys. So I have written a couple of notes down so I don't forget anything. First things I want to talk about is, for those of you that are new, my name's Sam Wild. I'm a coach. My whole life changed when I got into personal development, which I'll talk about very briefly in a minute. But it just kind of life invited me to enter this kind of place where I could share my experiences with other people, and I've had fantastic results and really great feedback. So I decided to just do it full time, which is what I'm doing now. Please feel free to invite people to the group. Feel free to share anything. Hi, oh, my mum. Hi, mum. Please feel free to share this video. I don't know whether you can share it outside the group or not. If you can't, let me know. But if not, then please do invite people to the group as well. You're welcome to invite anyone you like who you think might get value from it. Hi, Pamela. Nice to see you on here. I don't think we've spoken before. I'm not sure, actually. So a little bit forgetful, as I said, slightly jaded. So you have to let me off tonight, I'm afraid. And I'd also like to thank Sally. Sally's a member of this group. She's a client of mine. Fantastic woman, incredibly inspiring woman. And I want to say thanks to her group, because I posted last week's video on the group and it got fantastic feedback, and it's really helpful to me. So, hiya, Kate, lovely to see you. I just want to say thanks to all those guys for being so welcoming, and I think I'll probably put this video in there as well. So for those of you that in this group and in that group, I apologise, you're going to see it twice. And yeah, just thanks for the amazing feedback, basically. So very quickly, for those of you that don't know me, I got into personal development purely because about 4 or 5 years ago, I was made redundant and then diagnosed with male infertility within literally a few weeks of each other. And me and my wife kind of created this life where we kind of set ourselves up to have kids, and it challenged every part of me. It took me to a deep, dark place. I had masses of anxiety, panic attacks. I had depression. Nervousness was a thing for me. I was very, very nervous. And that's what those kind of feelings of anxiety created. And I had therapy, I got offered happy pills, so on and so forth. And it wasn't until I came across a coach who offered me an alternative to actually take 100% responsibility, not for the world around me, but for myself and how I chose to buy into my thinking or not. And it changed my life. And like I said, that for me was the start of it all. So tonight I'm going to talk about why you're wrong if you think you can't. And we kind of touched on this a little bit last week, in that we were kind of talking about your habitual toxic thinking and how we have two things that we either buy into: the present moment, which is the truth. That's all we ever have. When we're present, there is no suffering. There's no needs. There's no wants. We just have everything we need right there and then. But it's our toxic habitual thinking, when we buy into that creates the suffering. Alex, nice to see you, man. That post you put on Facebook the other day was amazing. Thanks for sharing, dude. I'm going to talk a bit about how you can understand what your why is, because so many of us, I had a lot of messages this week saying, Sam, I kind of don't know what my why is. I don't know if my why is strong enough for me to achieve my goals. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So let's talk about why you are already everything you ever need to be to create anything. And I know so many of us have these goals, you know, whether it's weight loss, whether it's making more money, whether it's changing relationships, whatever it is, doesn't matter. You already are everything, have everything you need to create that. There might be some learning needed along the way, of course there might be, but generally speaking, you can do it. There's no actual barriers stopping you. The only thing that happens with us humans, and this is where I come in as a coach, and I always coach my clients around this, is the thing that stops us getting what we want and what we desire, and again, we'll talk about the why in a minute, is when we buy into our thinking, our habitual thinking, our toxic thinking, I like to call it, because it is toxic. It stops us leading a life that you otherwise could lead. And that for me is a real shame. And that's what coaching did for me. So that's why I'm sharing this stuff with you guys. So for me, it's just important that you understand initially that if you're feeling that you can't do something, or if you're blocked, then you're buying into your thinking. And the best thing about it is that you're thinking that habitual thinking isn't you. It's not you. It's things you've been taught. It's your conditioning. It's memories of the past. It's fears of the future. They're projections. Your thinking is a projection of the future and the past, and you're feeling it in the present moment. It doesn't make it real in the present moment, but you are feeling it in the present moment. So that's just something to remember. Whenever you're feeling like you are stuck and you kind of got to that point where you think, oh, I can't do this again, I'm stuck again, or you're yo-yo dieting, or you're trying to earn more money and you suddenly have more money in the bank and then it's all gone again because you sabotaged it, whatever happens, you're only buying into your thinking. It's not real, but it feels real. And that for me is something that so many of us don't even understand. It's a basic, as I say, it's a basic principle. It is a basic principle, but it's something that we're not even shown from an early age. So we go through our whole life trying to create things outside of us to make us happy. That outside in principle. But if we switch that around and live from the inside out, get present and create from that place, then we get inspired and anything's possible. Because then when we start buying into our thinking, we have a day where we might fail on a diet, or we just decide we haven't gone to the gym, we beat ourselves up about it. It's not a problem because we can just get back to that inspired goal straight away. So I'll share a story with you. Basically, I think talking about the why a little bit and why it's so important to not just understand your why, but to live in an inspired place and be who you are. Because a why isn't something really we all need to understand. It's something you're being. It's something you already are. Your why is everything. And we all know how we want to live, how we want to feel, who we really are when we're not caught up in that thinking. So the first step is to get present. Slow right down. Slow right down. Don't try. Just stop buying into that thinking and you'll soon get those moments of inspiration, those moments of clarity, and you'll know what it is that you want. So when I was, pretty much for the whole first 28 years of my life, I was Christian. And my dad was atheist and my mum was a Christian, and I was always brought up in a very Christian environment. And I had a fantastic upbringing. I couldn't have asked for more. My family are incredible. I've got to say that because my mum's watching, but no, it was true. You know, I had a very blessed upbringing. I had everything I'd ever needed. I had wonderful parents and a fantastic upbringing. The problem for me, though, that first 28 years was that my belief, from what I was taught, wherever it was I was taught, wherever I took the belief on, was that in order for me to be happy, I needed to make other people happy. And that namely was my parents, because I really honestly believed that if I went to uni, they'd be really happy and then I'd be happy. I'd make them proud. And as a Christian, for the first, for that first 28 years, there's lots of things that I didn't do because I thought a Christian person wouldn't do that. And there was guilt around it. Especially, you know, when you're young and you meet girls and that kind of stuff. There was lots of stuff that happened that I didn't do and I didn't enjoy because of me trying to please God or doing something that was bigger than me all the time. You know, looking outside of myself to say, hey, listen, if I can make everyone else happy, I'm going to be happy. And that is where the shit really hit the fan for me. Because when I was told I was infertile and I got made redundant, I believe that then I was in that situation where I didn't know how to go inward. I didn't know how to introspect and say, well, what is it that I want? What am I really experiencing here? Is it just my thinking? I didn't do that. I went into complete blame mode. Oh, I can't do this. This is so hard. I'm never going to get what I want. I'm not a real man, and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't true. It wasn't true. None of that was true. And if I'd have understood from a very early age that, Sam, the only thing that's important, the only thing is you and what it is that you want. And if we all do that, we all connect on a far deeper level. We live inspired lives. And that for me is absolutely where we're limitless. We are not limited in that place. We have no thinking in that place. We're not buying into it. So we're not limited. We're not stopping ourselves because we think, oh, we've tried it so many times, we haven't got there, or whatever. And another thing, actually, I can share with you was I was brought up, we never really had a lot of money when I was younger. And I was brought up with this story, and this wasn't just by my parents, but my friends and my peers too, that people with money were different to me. You know, people who had money were different. And I carried that, man. I carried that for years. So in interviews, I never really asked for what I wanted and what I felt like I deserved. When I first started my personal training business, I way undercharged because I've undervalued myself. And it wasn't until I got into coaching or was coached and I realized that actually I was just buying into an old story that my thinking was creating, and that thinking was creating that feeling that felt very real. It wasn't until I understood that the story of me being different to people with money shifted, and I could charge more money and serve people far deeper, and I could create something incredible for myself and my family. Nothing really that much changed. I just became aware of the difference between being present, where I'm limitless and I can ask for any amount of money and I can be whatever it is that I want to be, or I can buy into my thinking where the stress is and where I'm just going to stop myself doing what it is that I want. So guys, if this is resonating with any of you, please leave a message. Let me know kind of what you think. I'm hoping it's making sense because, like I said, I've only had a couple of hours sleep, so forgive me if this isn't making sense. So, going on to your why, I said to you that so many of us don't know what our why is, and actually, if I'm totally honest with you, I don't really know what my why is either, because it's not something you can think about necessarily, because it's not a thinking thing. It's not what is my why? Why am I here? And all that kind of stuff. Why do I want to be here? How do I want to feel? That's just too much thinking, and that stops us creating clarity. And when we're clear, that is when we get our why moments, those moments of inspiration. So in order for you to understand your why, you've got to get away from that toxic habitual thinking that we're taught solves all our problems, that outside in living. Whether it's you're trying to lose weight loss, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether it is you're trying to grow your business, whether you're trying to attract new clients, whatever it is you're trying to do, just slow it down. Like I've said to you last week, slowing down, that stillness. So many of us never get to experience that stillness because we're so busy, doing, we forget that we're not being. We're human beings, man. The more still we become, the more true our life is. And it's not that, I'm a busy parent. I've got a business. I've got 2 businesses, and I've got kids, and things are busy. But I can still have stillness in my life with whatever it is I'm doing right now. Whether I'm gardening, whether I'm washing my car, whether I'm playing with my son or talking to my wife. When I'm present, I'm clear. I'm living in my why because it's already there. And that for me is the message I want you guys to take away from today. That the why is already there. You don't need to find it. You just need to see it and feel it. But you're not going to do that if you're just too caught up in your thinking. You're too busy in habitual toxic thinking, carrying out habits of social media and alcohol and smoking and that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with those things. But we must give ourselves chance to slow down, get some stillness. And the beauty of that is you realize, and the thing for me I realized is that I actually already am everything I need to be. I already have everything I need to have. I already feel everything I want to feel right now. You don't need to wait to have all those things. You've already got them. And when you get that, when you realize that, life becomes just, it's absolutely beautiful, because you don't have any limits. You don't have any doubts. You don't have any fears. You don't have any worries. It melts away. And it takes practice. Of course it does. It's not something that just happens overnight. And so that's the one thing I really want you guys to take away. Is just slow it down and connect with your why. And I wrote here, you don't fail because you don't believe you can. You fail because you believe you can't. And that isn't true. It's not true that you can't. You're just believing it. And the best thing about that word belief, and I hate to say it, it's the same with my being a Christian. A belief holds you a slave, because it's something that we believe to be true and it feels true, but a belief is neither right nor wrong. So it cannot be true. So there is a level deeper than that, and I'd invite you all to go there. So Alex, you've written, it resonates about the importance of being present and not lost in the construct of our habitual patterns. Nice one. May I ask how or what helps you to slow down? Yeah, man. Do you know what it is? And that's a really good question, dude. That's a really good question. And that's one I asked myself when I first started this whole process of personal development. And for me, it's just getting that habit of being present with everything we're doing. It's feeling everything we're doing. You know, even if I'm washing up, this sounds really stupid, but even washing up can be a beauty moment, because my hands are in the water. I'm slowing it down, I'm taking my time. I can feel the soap suds. I can smell the water. I can hear the birds outside. I can see my son walking around. I'm present in that moment, and I'm not buying into my thinking of, oh my God, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, that happened to me last year, I'm not making enough money, all those kind of habitual thoughts. So just get in the habit of getting really present with what it is that you're doing. And Eckhart Tolle, who wrote a book, The Power of Now, he sums it up absolutely beautifully. And he can kind of just walk around his life, and at any moment he can tap out, sit on a bench, just get utterly present with everything around him, because that is all there is. Moment to moment, that is all there is. That's all we have, is that present moment, until our mind's buzzing around and all those other things, and we miss the beauty in life. That our resourcefulness, our love, compassion, inspiration, everything we have and need is in that present moment, but we just miss it. And that for me is really sad. But I hope that answers your question, mate. Just, you know, when I say slow down, I don't physically mean always stop and really just slow down, because you might be driving. You know, how many times have you driven? I hope this isn't just me, because I'll lose my license saying this, you'll dob me in. But if I'm driving along and I'm driving to a client maybe in the past, and I've driven there, and I think, how the hell did I get here? I don't even remember half of that journey, because I'm missing the point. I'm lacking presence. I could have had a really enjoyable journey because I love driving. I miss beautiful scenery. I miss the truth in my life that is right now in the present moment. I'm buying into all the other stuff that's not even true, because it either hasn't happened, never will happen, or has happened already. So slow it down and get present with the moment. That's what I would say to that, man. So I hope that answers your question. So guys, that's really it from me. The two things I'd say is, if you're looking for your why, don't try. Just be, and you'll know it. You'll get it. And to get present with everything you're doing, get that richness, that depth of experience in your life, and you'll get so inspired. You're not limited in that place. So let's give you an example very quickly of, and I always use weight loss because I've been in the weight loss industry for, you know, best part of 15 years now, or I have been. So you get to the point and you think, I can't do this anymore, or I'm having a thought of, I just don't want to go to the gym, or I can't be bothered to go to the gym. That is a projection of the future, because you haven't been to the gym yet. So if you just get present with what you're doing, knowing that your why is going to the gym, then you won't have the problems that you had before. It's just getting present with it, and that's it. So guys, very quickly, Actually, no, do you know what? I'm not going to go into that this week. I'm going to go into that middle of the week. I'm going to do an extra live. Exciting stuff. I'm just going to share it with you nearer the time. So, guys, lots of love to you all. I want you to all know that you are everything you need to be. You don't need to do, have, or be anything other than you are, have, or do right now to be perfect. Everything is what it is. And when we know that, and when we feel that, and when we have an awareness of that, you can tap out of that thinking anytime you like. It does take practice. I get that. But that's what this group's for. So if you get to a point you think, shit, I've forgotten, or I can't do it, or I'm stressed, whatever. I had loads of messages this week. Just send me some stuff. Just send me over some messages. It's absolutely fine. I'm happy to share. And hopefully I can help you. So guys, go into this week with presence. Everything you're doing, even if things you don't like doing, they're the best ones, because then you realize actually it's not that you don't like doing it, it's that you believe you don't like doing it. So go into everything with presence, and lots of love to you all. And I can't wait to speak to you all very, very soon. Take care, guys. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you midweek. See you later.